Now turn up.
Hey, what's up, gorgeous people? This is Amazar's DIY and other stuff. My name is Amber Meeks. Today is Make It Monday, and on this video, I have for you a shoe transformation. So I have two of the same pairs of shoes, and what happened was I bought myself these shoes from a company called Chic, and then my friend Tiffany from Tiffany Wears T-Shirts also got me the same pair of shoes, not knowing that I'd already bought those shoes for myself. So instead of having two of the exact same pairs of shoes in my collection, I decided that I was going to turn the pair that she got me into a pair of Batman shoes. You guys know how much I love my superheroes, and actually as soon as I saw those shoes and I got them in person, the pair that I bought for myself, I looked at them and I just saw Batman. So I'm really glad that she got me these shoes so that I could turn one pair into Batman and then have the pair the original way that it was. So I had intended to post this on Fix It Friday, but I just didn't have them done in time, so I decided to post them today on Make It Monday. They are finally finished. I'm so super stoked to show you this DIY. So without further ado, let's jump into this thing. Okay guys, we're going to start with the supplies I used for this DIY. You're going to want to start by picking a pair of shoes that you want to transform into some awesome Batman shoes. Then I have some temporary tattoos that are Batman themed. And then I also picked up these Batman foam embellishments from Amazon. Then you're going to want some things to paint with, like the foam brush and a paintbrush. And then I have some scissors, I have some painter's tape, and then I have this 3D acrylic paint. It's for interior or exterior use. It's very important that you get the outdoor kind because you're working with shoes. You're going to want to be able to sustain the outdoor elements. And then I have this yellow acrylic leather paint. And I also have something to seal everything in place, which I'm going to use this Rust-Oleum clear durable top coat that is used for indoor or outdoor use. All right, guys, let's jump into this DIY. Okay, so we're going to start by painting the bottom part of the shoe yellow, and we're going to use this yellow acrylic leather paint that I bought off of Amazon. I will have it linked in the description box below. And my original plan was just to paint the sides of the shoe, but then I decided as I was painting to paint the entire bottom, except for that back heel part. I did leave that white. So when I opened this up, I had no idea there was a brush inside, and boom, I made a mess. So I decided to use that brush. That's the one that I started to paint with. And as I was painting with it, I decided I really didn't like it very much. So I did decide to switch to the brush that's to the far left of the screen here. So as you're painting and you start to get closer to the top part of the shoe where it's black and you don't want to have any yellow paint, I would suggest using some painter's tape if you feel like you'll get the paint on the black part. What I like to do though is not use painter's tape, and I just get as close as I possibly can to the top part and just angle my brush so that I don't get any of the yellow paint on the parts that I don't want it on. Now, if you do it this way and you find that you get some of the yellow paint on the black part, which I did a couple of times, guys. I'm not perfect by any stretch of anyone's imagination. You're just going to want to make sure that you wipe it off right away. I'm going to show you how I got some on this bottom white part where I didn't want it on, and I'll show you how I took it off of there without making a big mess. So here I am at the bottom part, and I'm trying to angle the brush so I don't get any yellow paint on that very bottom white part, but I did end up getting some on there. So as soon as I noticed it, and you're going to want to do it instantaneously while the paint is still wet, you're going to want to take it and wipe it off. Now I just used my nail, but if you don't have nails that are long enough, then you could always use some other kind of object just to kind of get in there and get it off. Okay, so now we're moving on to the temporary tattoos. These are the first two sheets that I thought that I was going to use, but then I ended up needing smaller tattoos, and I found some that I had in my stash, so I ended up using those. But nonetheless, what I'm just going to show you here is that you're going to want to make sure that you cut out all of the tattoos that you plan on using. I end up cutting out the whole sheet just because I find it easier that way. But you could just cut out the ones that you know that you're going to use and not the entire sheet. But I find it easier to cut out the entire sheet so that I can take those individual tattoos and place them on the shoe and decide whether or not they work on the particular project I'm working on. Okay, so all the tattoos are cut out and ready to go, and what I'm showing you here is I did decide to paint the entire bottom part of the shoe yellow except for that back heel part, and the only reason why I did not paint the back heel part yellow is because I knew no matter what kind of protective coat I put on it, it wouldn't stay on. Alright, so what I'm showing you here is where I'm planning on placing the tattoos on the shoe. So I'm going to take this first one and I'm just going to put it on there, and that's where I think that one's going to go. And then I'm going to take this one, probably put it in the center top, just deciding where the tattoos are going to go. All right, so this is where I'm showing you that I found these smaller tattoos because some of those tattoos are just too big for the places I want to put them in. So I'm thankful that I had these left in my stash. Okay, so we're going to start with the front part of the shoe here, and you're going to apply the tattoo just like you would if you were going to apply it onto your skin. So you're going to take that clear protective coat off. You're going to put the tattoo face down in the whatever direction you need it to be in on the shoe. Just make sure that you're getting it right the first time, guys. There is no correction with these little tattoos. So obviously I have my water here. I have a paper towel. I'm dipping my paper towel in the water, and then I'm just going to saturate the tattoo just like you would if you were going to put it on your skin. Now, what I'm doing here is not correct, guys. As I was working through this process, I knew that I was doing something wrong. I just couldn't figure out what it was until I got to the second shoe. So what you're going to want to do is saturate the entire tattoo so that it's wet. Once it's completely wet, don't keep doing what I'm doing. Just step away from it, leave it there for like 30 seconds. Don't check it, don't touch it, don't do anything with it, and then you take it off. If you leave it set and settle, it will work perfectly, but if you do what I'm doing, you could rip off parts of the tattoo. So don't do what you just saw me do, but that's roughly what it's going to look like when it's done. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. This is what I have done. I have all the tattoos in place, and I think everything's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and clear coat them in place using this Rust-Oleum Clear Durable Top Coat. This one is for outdoor use, and that's the kind that I recommend that you use. You could also use Mod Podge, and obviously I went ahead and used some painter's tape on the inside of the shoe so that I don't get that messed up with this clear coat when I'm spraying the clear coat on the shoe. Another thing that is very important to mention is that when you put these temporary tattoos onto the shoe, you cannot touch them until you get the top coat on them. If you touch them or try to mess with them in any way, they will rip apart. They are very delicate when you put them on the shoe. So as you're working on putting them in the places you want them, just make sure that you're not touching any of the other tattoos that you've put on until you get that top coat on there. Once they're top coated, they're good to go, but just make sure that you do not touch or play with them in any way, shape, or form, or you will ruin the look of the tattoo. All right, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so now we're moving on to those foam Batman embellishments, and this is the thing, guys. I have a zipper down the center back of the shoe, and that's where I want these to go, so I have to cut them in half in order to make them work. So I'm just lining it up as best I can and snipping them in half with these really sharp scissors. If you have to do this, you're going to want to use sharp scissors as well. If you don't have a zipper down the back of your shoe, then you don't have to do this part. You can totally skip it. But since I do, I have to cut them in half to make it work the way I need it to. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to want to paint them black. So I'm showing you this 3D acrylic paint that I'm going to also use as the glue to glue them on the back of the shoe. But this is the thing. It took several coats to get these fully colored and black. So I ended up switching to a cheap acrylic paint because I'm going to put a durable top coat over top of these anyways. And I didn't want to waste all of this 3D outdoor paint because it is kind of expensive. So I ended up stopping after this first coat and switching to the cheaper 50-cent version that you can get of the acrylic paint. And then I put probably about 4 or 5 top coats on top of it to make sure that everything is sealed in place and it will be good to go to attach to the back of the shoe. Okay, so here they are completely colored and I put the top coat on and everything. So now I'm going to be attaching them to the back part of the shoe so that I have Batman wings. It's going to look so cool. I'm so super excited. So this one's going to go right where I'm showing you, and then obviously the other piece will go on the other side, and that's why I had to cut them in half because I have a zipper down the center of the shoe. Okay, so as I mentioned before, to attach these, I'm going to use the 3D acrylic paint as a glue. I found out working on another project that this is a fabulous glue for things that don't really want to stick. And this is like a weird foamy kind of material. And then you have the funky material of the shoe, which is not leather, it's like a pleather. And it's really hard to find glues that work for those types of surfaces. So I found that this acrylic paint is awesome to use as a glue, and not to mention you can get it in the color that you need in case any of it seeps out, which this definitely will, and then that way everything looks more cohesive when you're attaching it to the shoe. So I'm gonna have to turn this towards me, guys, because I had a really hard time filming this part because I didn't want to mess it up. So I'm just trying to figure out how to film this and show you guys that I'm just putting it onto the back of the shoe, and once I have it in the place where I think it looks good, I'm going to grab one of these jumbo clothespins that I got at the Dollar Tree. I think they come in packs of like 4 or 6 or something like that. Anyways, I'm just going to use that to keep that in place while it dries. And that's it, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other side of this, and then obviously with the other shoe. Then finally, you have to let this dry for about, I'd let it dry for like 24 hours. Honestly, guys, it takes this paint a while to dry thoroughly, and you want to make sure it's completely dried before you start messing with the shoe. So I suggest a 24-hour dry time. After I'm done with this, the shoes are done. I'm so excited. Let's see how they turned out. And here they are. Woo! Okay, guys, so they look kind of funky sitting there, but I'm going to zoom in and show you some of the stuff that I did wrong so that you guys don't make the same mistakes that I did. So as I zoom in on this one, this is the one where I started to get the hang of how I needed to put these tattoos on. So these ones came off almost perfect, but as you can see, they still didn't come off perfect, but a lot better than this shoe. Look at this shoe. Look at how messed up that one is. And then the one on the other side of this little Batman logo on this side here is also kind of messed up. I'm just going to leave it like that, but yeah, just watch what you're doing. Same thing here. Made some mistakes on this one as well, and we're going to go over, and this thwack is upside down. Awesome, right? I am so totally leaving it that way. I am not even going to attempt to fix it. And then I messed up on the decal for this one, so it is going to be different from this other side. What I'm showing you here is that you can touch these now and everything's perfectly fine and sealed in. Okay, so here's the back of them. I think these look so awesome, guys. I'm so super excited about these. But I'm going to zoom in again, and I'm going to show you this side here. Look how cool that one is. I love the two on the back. So there's the wings attached with the 3D paint. There's the other side. Oh, I think these tattoos are so awesome. So I'm going down onto against the yellow. They look so amazing. And as you can see, that one right there is not centered, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. We are just rolling with it because once these are on, you can't change them. So here's a side view of, I don't know which side this is, but nonetheless, I'm just going to zoom in. You can see all the different ones. I have the Caped Crusader, and then of course I have the Batmobile, and then another little Batman one. And this is the opposite side. So if I zoom in here, I have the Dark Knight, and then Batman just kind of standing there. And then I also have the Dark Knight Batman in the front. These look so cool, guys. I'm so excited. And this is on the inside bottom part of the shoe. You can see it when I have them on. It looks totally awesome. It was totally worth putting that on there. And here's the final shoes, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at them on my feet. Boom! All right, so yeah, my dog looks so enthused, doesn't he? But nonetheless, I absolutely love these guys. They are so awesome. And I gotta say, I was a little nervous walking with those wings. I felt like I had to walk with my feet spread out a little more, but really I don't need to. So I think they turned out great, guys. I am super excited about these shoes. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with them. And I can't wait to work on my next superhero pair. Let's go ahead and jump into my final thoughts and tips on this DIY. Okay, guys, so although I am so super stoked with how the shoes turned out, I am so excited. I can't wait to wear them. I am well aware that I made quite a few mistakes on these shoes, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm totally going to rock the heck out of these shoes, and I'm so excited to wear them. So here's the thing, guys. When you're working with temporary tattoos and shoes, you need to make sure that you allow the temporary tattoo to kind of set on the shoe. So what I was doing wrong on that entire first shoe was I was putting the water on there, and I was just trying to get the tattoo to adhere right away, kind of like it does with your skin, because that's what they're made for. Not even realizing, hello, Amber, Remember, you're working with a completely different surface. It's not like your skin, so you need to make some adjustments to the way that you're doing things. I have worked with these temporary tattoos on several pairs of my shoes, but obviously I'm pretty rusty because I was having some issues when I was working with these shoes. So here's the thing, guys. You put the temporary tattoo onto the shoe, wherever you want it positioned, and then you dampen it with the water. Make sure you get it completely saturated, and then just walk away from it. Don't continue to press on it. Don't continue to put water on it. Just leave it there, let it set, and once it's done for about 30 seconds, you're going to take that off and it's going to be perfect. I totally had it down pat, the process, on the second shoe. You guys are going to see me use these on some more shoes because I actually have some more superhero shoes that I have the designs in my head, and I want to go ahead and get those done. So I'm definitely going to use temporary tattoos for those as well. So I will show you the perfected process. Nonetheless, just make sure that you do it the way that I just described and you should be okay. Another thing that I want to make very clear, it is so important that you do not touch the temporary tattoo after you take that, after it's on the shoe and you take the little, piece of paper off and it's on the shoe. Don't touch it. Don't touch it in any way, shape, or form, because if you do, I promise you it is going to get ruined and you're going to have to figure out a way to get it off of the shoe and do a different one, because I had that problem. I touched it accidentally. I knew I couldn't touch them because I've done this several times, but I touched it accidentally and it got totally messed up. So it was not easy for me to take it off the shoe. I tried to just wipe it off with the water. That didn't work. So I ended up having to sand it off the shoe, repaint the front of the shoe, and then put another tattoo in place. So just don't make a mistake like that. It's totally not worth it. Just make sure that you don't touch them at all until they're sealed in place. So once you've sealed them in place with either the Rust-Oleum top coat that I showed you in the video, or you can use Mod Podge if you want to. I don't like to use Mod Podge for certain projects, and this was one of them because I knew the material that those shoes were, that Mod Podge was not going to dry the way that I wanted it to, so I did not use Mod Podge in this case. I knew that Rust-Oleum top coat was going to be a better choice. It just depends on what kind of material you are working with on the shoes. I've done suede shoes where I did the temporary tattoos on them. They were actually my Steeler shoes. They turned out super cool. Nonetheless, I used the temporary tattoos and I used the Mod Podge, and it was a perfect combination. But in this case, I just knew the Mod Podge would not be the way to go. So I don't know, just use your judgment. Or if you guys want to ask me any questions or anything like that, go ahead and, send me an email at ameeks@ambazzars.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook. I will be more than happy to help you guys along the way if anybody decides to try a DIY similar to this with temporary tattoos. All right, guys, I think that's all the little tips and tricks I have for you. Of course, make sure that you put your tattoos in the right direction. You saw the one that I did upside down. I don't know. I'm totally fine with it. I didn't want to take it off. I really wanted that tattoo in that place, so I'm just going to leave it that way. It's totally fine for me. It would be different if these were a pair of shoes that I was going to sell. They're not. They're a pair of shoes that are for me, so it doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want, right? All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this DIY, and if anybody has any other ideas or techniques for transforming shoes with temporary tattoos or anything else, please comment that below and share your ideas with the rest of us. That's all I got for you guys in this video, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye! Today is Make It Monday, and on this video, I'm going to show you, finally, how I made those Batman shoes. It just doesn't sound right. That's why I just froze. Try it again. Okay. Okay, guys, so I was going to put this on a Fix It Friday, and I had... Woo! All right, try it again. So I finally finished my Batman shoes. Now I had intended to post... I can't talk. I'm not posting this video either. So I had decided that I wanted to turn one of the pairs into a Batman pair of shoes. So I'm really excited with how these turned out, guys. I'm so super excited. Okay, I said excited already. Try it again. So when you're working with temporary tattoos, you just need, when you're putting them on your shoes anyways. Okay, try this again. So here's the thing, guys. When you're working with temporary tattoos, you need to make sure temporary tattoos and shoes. Why can't I get that out? Okay, guys, so what? What? Try it again.